bring back the blue collar worker being the everyday person, not because you're looked down at if you are a blue collar worker half the time now. You know what I mean? And I think that's just the bad habit the U.S. got for some reason.
Well, I think a lot of that, as far as like looking down on the blue collar worker and stuff like that, a lot of that came from people from the whole like obsession with college.
Yeah.
You know, like I know it was really going strong when I was in school, and it even started a little bit before I was in school. But that whole, you have to go to college, you have to go to college, you have to go to college, you have to go to college. That's the only way to be. And that's a dumbass mentality to have, because there's a lot of jobs that pay super well in this country that don't require a college education, and sending people and making it when you're raising kids in a system where the only thing you're supposed to do is go to college and get a job and do all this other kind of stuff. So you're literally telling them to do something that they might not even be interested in to begin with, and something that's going to automatically saddle them with debt, because most people can't afford those student loans when they pay them off, or after they get out of school, because the job that they got told to get in college, what they got told to study in college, doesn't pay worth a shit.
No.
And they would have been a lot better off spending $10,000 at a technical school than spending the freaking $80,000 or $100,000 they spent at a college, and now there's no job to go to that to even use that college degree on.
Well, because I was ill-educated as well. Like I got out of high school thinking $100,000 was big bank a year. You know what I mean? That's not true. I know plenty of middle-class people who have $100,000 and they're still swimming in debt of one form or another. You know, $100,000 does not solve your problem. 6 figures is not that much.
They actually did a little study on it, and $95,000 a year is actually where the happiness, where you peak at.
Yes.
As far as money, $95,000 makes everybody comfortable.
Yes, but
but anything above that doesn't make a difference for your happiness.
Yeah, but I thought it was rich.
It's comfortable.
It's
very comfortable.
If you play your cards right, yes, it can be comfortable. But I know people that are making $140,000 a year and are still swimming in student loans.
But that comes down to personal responsibility,
yes,
not necessarily
the
fact that they're not making enough money.
Yes, but some of those, it's factors that were outside their control, and I'm not going to go into the person in particular, but that's not the point. The fact of the matter is you're taught that money equals happiness instead of maybe a fulfilled job.
Well, we're taught college is the first step after high school.
It's not.
We're taught that college is the only step after high school.
I was definitely. I was threatened if I went into the military. Getting out of high school when I was 17, I was threatened that if I go into the military, I would lose my family.
Wow.
And you would be very surprised in who did that.
Oh, probably not. But
yeah.
So
the fact of the matter is, you know, people have a weird misconception. There's a guy, one of the recruiters I've met, you know, and he's bragging to kids that he's going to be making because of all the education he got, he's going to be making a 6-figure job. He keeps getting offered 6-figure jobs. 6 figures is not the be-all, end-all.
It's pretty much the be-all, end-all for most people.
Yes, but I mean,
that's really all you need to make, and then you're pretty much good.
Yes, but we're not taught to be proud of our work anymore. It's all about money. A figure. Yeah. Because there was a time in this country when somebody could go home, and they don't have a whole lot, but they were damn proud of what they did during the day. They made something. They did something. They were part of a bigger picture that was moving forward. You know what I mean? Like,
you talk about like
a guy who worked in a factory. He made, I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it. Like maybe he made blue jeans. He loved making blue jeans. He was proud. He could go home and, I mean, he wasn't anything special, but he went home.
But there was people out there wearing his jeans.
Yes. He looked at the jeans and he was like, I made those.
Mm-hmm.
I put those in people's hands. I made sure that those are fucking quality. That's not a thing anymore. It's really, really sad that it's not, because I think there's
not pride in being a blue-collar worker anymore.
Yes, and I think there should be pride in any work you do. And if you worked for that college degree, you deserve it. But maybe that's not the path for everybody. Maybe kids should be taught that that's not what equals happiness.
Yeah.
You should find what your niche is.
Yeah.
Because maybe you want to heal people. Maybe you want to help. Maybe be a nurse. That's good. To be a low-level nurse, it's not that much schooling in reality.
And you don't need a 4-year degree.
No, you do not. There's essentially trade schools for nursing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There is trade schools for nursing.
My stepmother, she taught those.
Yep.
She was, and LVNs, it's not hard to get into being an LVN. You make decent money.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, you could go to welding school, you could go
Exactly.
to plumbing school. Did you ever see that movie Accepted?
No.
Okay, so Accepted is one of my favorite movies because Accepted is built on the whole premise of this one person who has no idea what the hell he wants to do in life, and the only thing he's been told his entire life is he has to get into a good college. He has to get good grades and he has to get in good college because that's what you do. And like even his little sister, who's like, I don't know, she's maybe in like 4th or 5th grade. She's already got like her stuff ready to like go to Yale and like all this other kind of garbage. And so the guy ends up making his own fake college. It's a community college.
Oh yes, I've seen it. Yes, it's a comedy, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a comedy. It's absolutely hilarious.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's one of my absolutely favorite movies, and it's one of those things. The whole premise behind that movie is. There's a whole generation of us out there, and it really started probably with my generation and probably even some of Gen X too as well. Mm-hmm. There's this whole generation out there that we were taught that the only thing we were supposed to concentrate on in school was making it to where we could get into a good college. Like that's all I heard growing up from my grandmother too was go to college. You have to go to college. You have to go to college. And the thing about it is that's not, especially nowadays, that's not even the best way to. I wouldn't even say that's the best way to learn anymore.
No.
I think there's far better ways to learn. If you just want to learn, there's far better ways to learn. And even if you want to actually go into a specific career field, there's far better ways to find ways into those career fields than trying to put hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt on you, or even just tens of thousands of dollars of debt on you.
Did you ever go to college?
Yeah, I did a semester.
Yeah, me too. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, and it wasn't for me. College isn't for me.
Yeah.
I learned that very quickly. I'm just not a school guy. Like, I thought maybe that's what I wanted to do. It's just not. I'm not a guy who needs to be in school.
Yeah.
I don't thrive in that setting. But I struggled with that. I was extremely embarrassed. I lied about it for a long time. That I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna get back to it. No, I don't. I'm not meant to be in school.
Yeah, or at least not in a college setting.
No, not in a college setting. Maybe I'll go to like a trade school so I can learn something. But that's a thing for later down the line. I'm not worried about it right now. I have other things I'm more concerned with, but that's okay. It took a long time to really understand that not everybody is meant to be in college.
Right.
Not everybody is meant to get their associates and do all that stuff.
My bachelor's degrees.
My
or
wife
doctorates.
thrives in that setting. She's very good in school. Her GPA is much higher than mine ever was.
Right.
At any point, she was much better. But I learned really quickly that it doesn't make you anything to be in college. I realized being there on campus, I was like, I know more than most of these people. The fact of the matter is I do. I know more than pretty much anybody, and probably most of the professors, about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not good at I'm not book smart in that sense. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be. I not like that. Like I love reading. I love learning, but I don't want to. I don't need to know math equations like that,
right.
Unless it pertains to a job that I definitely need to know those math equations for. But it's.
I think that was one of my biggest issues. Because I did a semester in college after I graduated high school, and I was basically paying for myself. Mm-hmm. Mostly because I was too lazy to try to fill out the FAFSA paperwork. Because I made my grandparents didn't make shit. I could have got Pell Grants and all that kind of stuff. But it was one of those things. When I went to college the first time, I kind of got to pick the classes I wanted to go because I was taking a community college. I was going to a community college, and those classes were fun because those were classes I actually wanted to take. My biggest issue with college, because I tried again when I was in the military, and my biggest issue with that stuff was they have at least with those online courses, like the first 3 or 4 courses you took were teaching you how to do online courses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, look, I get that you deal with a lot of older people that don't know jack squat about computers and stuff like that, but I am not going to sit here and pay $500 for a class that's going to teach me how to use PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Okay? If I wanted to teach...
Was the option to just breeze through those courses there yet?
No, there wasn't. There was no... At that time, there was no...
Now there is.
I'm sure there is now.
Yeah, you can pay $70 and take a test.
Right.
And skip the class.
Yeah.
This is for military members only.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, they might have different forms of this in different colleges. But now you can skip over those.
Right.
But yeah.
But so that was my biggest issue with it. And my other biggest issue with college is if I wanted to go to college, I would want to go to college so that way, just because I could learn stuff. I don't need a degree. There's nothing I want to do in my life that requires a degree, okay? But I would love to go to college just to take like a philosophy course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To just go like, I would kill to be able to go to Canada and take one of the college courses from somebody, you know, from like Jordan Peterson. Yeah. Like I would love to sit in a college course with Jordan Peterson. But it's just one of those...
It would also be interesting to take some history courses in other countries.
Yeah, history courses,
see how they see, because history is written by the victors. I'm curious on how the different histories are in different countries. That would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, because
English how they're taught. That would be also really interesting.
That would be really cool.
So I would like to see, and this sounds weird, but like the British history course for the era of 1776 and how
see how their books are written differently.
Yeah, because
they call it a rebellion. We call it a revolution.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's how they work.
Because it was a civil war for them.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if and this has been years since I heard this, but if I remember correctly, I think their history books do have. It's the American Civil War. We call it the Revolution.
That's so
but I think now that I could be wrong, and this was also like back when I was a kid in school when I heard this. But my understanding was, they call it the American Civil War. They call it like a British Civil War, the Civil War of the colonies, but they refer to it as a Civil War, not as a revolution. For us, it's a revolution. For them, it was a Civil War.
Yeah.
But there's probably a lot of their wars that are handled like that too. So.
Yeah, that's the interesting part about it, but I don't see the point in teaching kids that that's the main way to make your way in the world. Like there's some. I talk about him a lot. I'm joking now. I'm not going to bring Jocko up.
Oh, you're joking. 3 weeks in a row.
No, but seriously, like he started a blue jean business.
Yeah.
textile industry. Like that's interesting. Like
there are people that are rising up and they're trying to start building American jobs again. And I think the everyday person thinks the same, though. It's the weird thing where the news media is telling us that we think some way, but in reality, if you talk to normal people, they're as in between as pretty much anyone else. So, like, yeah, no, I agree with this, and I don't agree with that. It's this weird. I think people want what we want. I don't think we're the only ones. I think it's a large portion of the population. I just think that people. There hasn't been a call to action, like a real call to action yet.
Yeah,
because I mean, people want to work. They want money.
Yeah,
they're willing to work for it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are.
And I think that's where it comes back. I think that's where it kind of comes back to, like, I like that idea of the whole graduating, basically no interest loan to do whatever you want.
Yeah. You're giving people freedom.
Yeah, and that's why I like that idea, because I like that idea a lot better than going, everybody's like, oh, free college. No. Okay?
Well, it's an investment in the government's.
It's an investment in the future.
Yeah, because I hate to say it, but more businesses means they can lower taxes, but the government will still be getting more in taxes, so they can put that into better places. That's why we need better people in government. We need people who share the same ideals as the everyday person. Not the guys with the most money, but the guys that are struggling. I mean, most people don't. I don't know if you want to look up the stats, but what is the average income for the United States citizen? Not skewed by the 1%.
Oh, so you're asking median income then? Median, so what's the median?
What's
the median income for the United States? Yep, you look at that median income in the United States. So now I want medium income though. I don't want. Well, here that's an ad.
Yeah.
Here we go. 2008. Yeah, median household.
We'll look at 2018 because it's not that.
Well,
much different.
you can't go. You can't. It's because all the data from 2019 hasn't been completely compiled yet.
Yeah.
So let's see. Here, downsize that because I don't need to see that right now.
U.S. median income.
U.S. median income is 61,937, which means we are literally the 1% of the world.
Yeah.
We are.
That's not bad.
No, the U.S. median income is not bad at all.
So so you're saying the majority of people. What we're saying here is the majority of people don't make more than 61,000.
Well, I don't know if it's really saying the majority of people, but
I mean,
the majority of people wouldn't
or,
make more than $61,000. Yeah. No, because if that's the median, then that's the top 1% and the top bottom percent knocked off the top. Everybody else in the middle is there.
So essentially, what people? I just can't see most people not being on board with the idea of giving their kids an opportunity.
Right.
Like it's
a loan or something like that.
Just break. Like after you get out of high school, you're stupid. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. High school kids are stupid. I was a high school kid fairly recently too. I was stupid.
Right.
I was very, very stupid. It was ignorance. I had not been educated in the ways of the world yet completely.
And I think that's another reason why the idea of them going to college is such a bad idea in the beginning.
You're not ready. No, you don't know what you
don't even know what you believe, and then you go to college, and with the way colleges are nowadays, they indoctrinate you. They don't try to open you up anymore.
Yeah, it's you're not letting people know. It's this issue where we're not letting people know both sides of the story. You go into college, you're told to go to college. College is the answer. College is the answer. But what comes after? Also, guess what, kid? Do you really know what you want to do?
Right.
I doubt it. I thoroughly doubt it. Have you put that much thought into it? More than a month?
Well, and I think too, if we ended up doing that universal graduation of high school loan program, like if that actually became a thing, then you would actually, I think that would change the way the school's set up too, because now if you're gearing, instead of going, well, we can gear you towards a school because we know the government's going to pay for you to go to college, so we can gear you towards that. Well, now if we're gearing you towards, you've got all these options upon graduation instead of just having to go to college and get that paid for. Well, now you can start a business and get that paid for. Kind of. It's a loan. It's not paid for, but it's a loan that you have to pay back at a certain amount of time. And then, so it gives you an option. It gives you a step out the front door. It puts your leg up. It gives you an option of something to do. And with that, you'd gear school very different. Now, if you know at the end of graduating high school, you got a $50,000 loan there that you're going to be able to do whatever you want with, whether that be start a business, go to trade school or something like that. You're going to completely change the way the school system's structured, because now you're going to be going, okay, we need to figure out what these kids want, what's best for them, how are we going to maximize them being able to use that $50,000?
Not only that, what it also does is it takes the kids, it takes the entire society and it changes everything.
Yeah.
We would be ground upping the world.
Yeah.
Or our world.
Upending it, yeah.
Yeah, well, you'd have to start from the ground. You'd have to start from the ground again, because businesses would then have to change their advertising, because now you have this opportunity to get skilled workers coming into your job. They have the opportunity to say a kid comes out and he becomes a welder.
Yeah.
Or, and this is just random, but like maybe he becomes a welder and these businesses can now scout for him.
Yeah.
It ups the quality of our work. It ups the more people you have going into just everyday work, the less things would cost less, inevitably.
Oh, yeah.
We would have more people working in this gap of...
Kind of like where there's that labor gap we've got right now.
Yeah,
so
it's hard to explain.
So, well, let me see if
I'm off the.
Let me see. I think I kind of understand what you're saying. So basically, kind of like what it would end up being is like, so not only could you fill in those labor market, those blue collar lapses that we have now, as far as the quote unquote blue collar, even though some of those guys are making $80,000-$90,000 a year. But like, and so you'd fill in. Not only would you fill in the labor gap for tech schools. You'd have a lot of that stuff filled up, but then you'd also have entrepreneurs going out there and building textile factories. And now those guys that were like, I really don't want to go to school, I really don't want to go to college, I really don't want to do anything. And then the other thing is too, is you could give them a 5-year window of opportunity, right? So say you've got 5 years after you graduate high school to use that. and then after that you're on your own. Right, but so what if some people don't want to do that, or what if some people don't want, maybe they don't want to go to school, maybe they just want to be a factory worker.
Yeah.
Well, now you're gonna have all these more entrepreneurs out there setting up these businesses that they can employ even more people to do that kind of stuff. So now you're incentivizing business creation, not just incentivizing people going to college, which we've already seen what's happened with the current generation, that the only thing they've been incentivized to do is go to college. We see how well that's working out right now.
Well, and we both know somebody who went to nursing school to become a nurse.
Absolutely.
Like she comes into the shop.
Oh yeah, all the time.
And she still doesn't have a job yet. And there's no. And, I mean, she became an RN, I believe, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not always the answer. I mean, for her, it might be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the other person we know who went for a trade school route, I mean, he threw it away, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Or is in the process, possibly.
Yeah, it might possibly be thrown
Quite
away.
Possibly. If, they don't get their act together.
Right.
Rooting for him.
Yeah, always.
But, shit, dude. Like, but it leaves, I hate to say, but it weeds out our weak. And it puts the people who are down in the dumps, like, I hate to say it, but lower class, a lot of our current, in Corpus, our west side, it gives those kids an opportunity to be more.
It would. It really would.
They could help their families. There's so much you can do with that.
Oh yeah.
If one of those kids goes and becomes a welder, he might be able to take his family out of that area and bring them back.
Absolutely.
That's completely possible. There's no reason that at that point the government, so say we have all these businesses going, the government could work on maybe fixing our slums.
Right.
I don't know what else to call them. But,
lower.
The lower end communities.
Yeah,
we could fix them. I mean, they could be nice again. Because if in Corpus, I hate to say it, but a lot of the bad areas used to be the very nice areas. Downtown, the less... I'm trying to not offend people.
Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Just the slummier areas.
This is a free-form zone, baby. You can say whatever you want.
Well, I have a friend who lives in it's a split house. It used to be essentially a mansion downtown. That is fucked.
Oh, you're talking about like a lot of the old big houses they just turned into apartments and shit like that. The old mansions.
And they're
not
nice areas.
No, they're really not.
No, I go there and I have a gun on me constantly.
Yeah,
before I had my CHL, I had a knife and a gun.
Yeah.
I was not comfortable going in that area. No. And the fact of the matter is, we could bring those back.
Yeah, we
can make those some very nice high-end apartments because, it's a nice layout.
Absolutely.
It could be, they just need to be fixed up. Right. It gives the government or local areas opportunity to tell these people, hey, if you fix this little apartment building up real nice, we might give you a tax break or an opportunity to expand maybe, or hey, this place is too far gone, let's possibly
bulldoze it and start over.
Let's bulldoze this bitch and get going, make something nicer, and get these people into some, because eventually all those people would have jobs, high paying jobs, so they're not going to want to live in that type of environment. But if you tell them, hey, this is about to be a very nice area, we'll give you a deal going into your first year of a fixed rate or whatever, and we'll bulldoze this place. You're gonna have to find a place to live for the next 4 months. But if we get X amount of people to sign this, we'll bulldoze this and build it up, and then we'll do it here, and then there's opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.